Christopher, tell me your what happened.
Well, um, I went to my PCP on my primary care physician on the 18th, and they tested me for the flu and also strep. And they didn't test me for COVID-19. Um, the flu got worse and worse, and gonna find out later on it was double pneumonia on both my lungs. I didn't find that out until like a couple of days ago. But on the 26th, my wife asked me a couple times because I'm stubborn to go to the ER, and I was afraid that we couldn't afford it. So um, after she asked me a couple times, I went ahead and said yes. We'll go to the ER. Went to Method, and we got there, and the ER doctors checked my oxygen levels. Through my fingers, it said 83. Through my blood, it said 79%. And so the doctors like he's not getting enough oxygen. I'm a diabetic, and they asked me to be incubated, basically go into a coma so they can find out what's going on, and so and put me on a ventilator. So I went ahead and volunteered to do that after a couple of times of them asking me, quite pleading with me, because outside I was calm, but on the inside I was very fearful. I never been put to sleep like that before, and so I allowed them to go ahead and put me to sleep. I was at Methodist Dallas for 3 days as they found out that I had COVID-19 and double pneumonia of the lungs. And so they tried a couple of medicines on me, and one of them was the
Hydroxychloroquine. Yeah,
hydrochloroquine, yeah.
yeah, Lord.
And I started to decline, and it care flighted me over to Medical City, Plano, and I got there at 9:22 according to medical records, and they put me on the ECMO treatment. They put me on life support and a ventilator, and that's a very aggressive treatment that they were doing because that's like the last resort. So if the ECMO treatment didn't work, I would no longer be here. And so with the ECMO treatment, what it does is take out the blood, remove out the impurities, the carbon dioxide, and oxygenates the blood. But it also gives your lungs or your heart time to rest as well, because there's an artificial lung that's going on. So that gave my body some time to rest, my heart and my lungs to rest as they put antibiotics and fentanyl and all kind of other drugs in my body to help me get back. So I was in Medical City on the 29th. I woke up on the 31st. I wasn't totally cognitive, but I woke up on my birthday, which was a sign of me like, thank you, G. Um, so days go by. I fully get conscious of what's happening on the 8th. And they moved me from critical to non-critical on the 10th. And I went into the negative pressure room. My physical therapist came to see me on that Monday. That Wednesday, I was approved because I worked out. I did everything I could to get out of bed. I was bedridden, and I couldn't get out of it. And I'm one of those people that like to be independent, and move around, and things like that. So it was a journey. Um, Definitely been, I feel, death's door, and then being totally brought back. And I'm very thankful for the doctors at both hospitals, the doctors, the nurses, all the first responders, because it could have been my last year. Could have, I could no longer be here, but I feel like the prayers of everybody, from my family members, organizations, everybody that was praying for me, I feel like they intervened. It was divine intervention on the 29th, and I recovered so quickly, faster than any other patient, from what I was told.
Wow. So what's interesting is we keep hearing African American men are at a higher risk of dying, and also um, they get sicker. And you said something that was really important, and that is like you didn't want to go to the ER because you thought it might be too expensive. And I think that there people keep saying that that might be the one of the reasons that African Americans are dying at a higher rate.
Hmm.
Do you think that that might be true? That maybe are waiting or they don't have access to the health care?
Well, not just African Americans, minorities. Period. Uh, like,
Policy.
Hold on, half a second. I'm sorry. For some reason, my computer keeps going off over there. um, I'm sorry. You were saying access to.
I would say minorities. Period. Especially right at the poverty line and right at the working poor and middle class. Uh, Even though you may have health insurance or not, I think a lot of people are afraid of the cost that they will incur because of the probably more than likely bank. And so a lot of people are scared about the cost they're going to incur for health care. But not only that, they don't know the process. Like right now, we know they're testing different drugs. There's not any, I guess, antibodies or vaccines so far that can kind of defeat this. And there's fear. So a lot of people, they're afraid they're going to go to the hospital and be spending this money, and they're not able to pay for it, and it'll put them deeper into debt. I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of right now.
And then you had that underlying health condition. If you're diabetic,
Yes.
you have that underlying health condition that a lot of people say it's, the death rate is higher for diabetics. So you really did like
Yeah.
overcome what a lot of people haven't been able to do in your situation.
Yes, I think that's more likely the reason that I was let the doctor decided to go ahead and hit me because of the flu, and then my diabetes wasn't under control at the time, so my immune system was weakened. I'm one of those people. I overcommit and I overwork, and I forget to take care of myself. And so my diabetes got under control, and my immune system got weak. And I'm not sure where I contracted COVID-19. I just know usually around this time I get allergies or like a sinus strain. So I thought it was that and progressed. But yes, diabetes is one of those things that weaken the immune system. That's on that list. And so it was really scary, I'll tell you that.
How do you feel now?
I feel excellent. I'm just my energy level is not where it used to be. I lost a lot of weight in a hospital room, and most of my clothes don't fit me like they used to. So it's just trying to build back up my immune system, my energy level, my stamina, and build my muscle back. Right now, I got physical therapy that way, and supposed to have a nurse coming out and checking on me too. So it's just trying to get back to that, trying to get to a normal within this new normal. Because when I first went in, everybody was starting to shut down a little bit. And when I came out of this coma and everything, a lot of stuff had changed. So when you lose like almost 3 weeks of your life, it's like, okay, what happened? It's trying to play catch up, trying to learn the environment, learning what's happening here.
And now, how old are you?
I'm 37. I turned 37 on the 31st.
Okay, and you were at UNT though, because you were
Yes.
a law student too, aren't you?
No. I'm at UNT Dallas right now, working on MBA. I'm halfway done with that, and I'm looking to go to law school. But I've learned that I need to slow down because currently I'm working full time. My job, thank God they saved my position. I'll be returning in weeks. Jesus Christ, let me decline. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. What message would you say to younger people? Because when this first started, everybody was like, "Oh, it's going to be the older people that are," but you're young, and it happened to you.
I tell them to stay home, stay home, stay home. Unless you got to go to the grocery store, unless you got to go to the pharmacist, a doctor, or a hospital, please stay home because this is real serious. Like at work, I took this very serious, washing my hands, sanitizers, things like that. And I'm not sure how I got it, but I was riding public transportation. I wasn't wearing a mask or gloves or anything like that. And somehow I got it. So I got nephews that's not not taking this seriously. And I'm like, I know you young, I know you feel like you're invincible, but this is very serious. Me, I was thinking, we've been through so much pain, birth so many different epidemics and stuff like that, and it didn't affect us. And that was my mindset. And I was like, after this whole experience, my experience is very critical. And I just want them to take it seriously because I don't want anybody to go through this type of pain because it hurt, especially when I found out I was on fentanyl and I told them off of fentanyl, and I'm still getting all these needles in me, getting my blood checked, getting labs and stuff like that. You don't want that process. You don't want to be bedridden. You don't want to have to have somebody clean you when you use the restroom. So if you don't want that type of process, do what the government is saying. Stay home, practice social distance, and take this real serious because there's nothing to play with.
Now, where do you live? Do you live in the Dallas area, or do you live at?
I live in Dallas County and
Okay.
District.
Okay. And you got it, I guess, even before a lot of the guidelines or the shutdowns had happened. Then, just as everything was shutting down.
I believe I got it like the beginning of March because around the 15th or the 18th, I started to feel bad, and it degraded all the way to the 26th to the point I had to be put in that coma. So I believe the beginning of March is when I contracted it.
Wow. And how's the rest of your family? Did anybody else contract it?
My wife she's asymptomatic, positive, COVID-19 positive. So we have to stay with each other. She's wearing a mask, and I wear my mask every now and then, so she can be able to take hers off. Clorox everything, bleached everything down, and it's difficult for me because I went through that whole process alone. I didn't have my mom and my wife there. They were checking on me, and being away from your family for that long. You want to be intimate. You want to hug them. You want to kiss them, show the affection, and showing that appreciation. You can't do that right now. So it's very interesting to live in the house with my wife, and I can't kiss her. Be like, thank you so much for what you did for me because it's incredible.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. And then the people that either die alone or they're by themselves and they can't see their loved ones. That we keep hearing story after story like that, and that's horrifying.
I think that puts a lot of stress on your family and friends, especially when they can't make sure everything is going correctly. At least being your advocate in a hospital, and yeah, down home. That's kind of ridiculous. I know we're practicing safety, and I know that they don't have enough PP&E to be able to protect themselves. So it's hard on family. I definitely know it's hard on families.
Wow, it's amazing. It's like a long way from what we were like a couple of years ago down at
Yeah,
Dr. King's anniversary.
50th anniversary meant to. I tell you, it's definitely been a journey going through this. It makes you really appreciate life a lot more. Family and friends are definitely self-care. That's what I definitely learned because I've been always so busy, always on the run, and just didn't have enough time to really give people the flowers while they're alive. And I think that's very important to do so. So I would say that. I definitely have a lot more things I want to talk about, but this is definitely your interview.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to add that we're forgetting?
I think it's too quick to open up the government. I understand small businesses are hurting, but I think there needs to be a gradual opening a little bit later once we get this under control and get more testing. That's what I want to say on that. The hydrochloroquine. I woke up and I saw the news reports on CNN about people that were passing away rapidly, having cardiac arrest and other issues and passing away. And when you wake up and you see that, and after you get out, you get your records, and you find out that that was used on you because people believe that there is some type of miracle because that's what the president said. Um, from a person that I I think there needs to be more facts behind using certain drugs, more trial, you know, and not just saying, hey, definitely use it. Uh, I'm thankful for all the doctors, the nurses that saved my life, but definitely that drug wasn't the drug to use.
It didn't work on you, the hydrochloroquine.
No, it didn't. It caused me to decline. So every other organ in my body was perfect. It's just my lungs were full of fluid with the double pneumonia, and it just didn't work out for me. And so they had to curve. Like, I think that's very important to note that that medicine, even though they're advocating for it as the miracle drug, that is not the miracle drug.
Well, and it's interesting because Rita Wilson, who is Tom Hanks's wife, she was given the hydrochloroquine, and she said she had some horrible side effects, and it didn't work for her either.
Hmm.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it was hard laying in the hospital bed looking at the stats on MSNBC and also CNN and seeing all the people that passed. And for the first couple of days, I did have spiral remorse because I was like, Lord, why me? Why did I live when all these other people who passed away? And so I had my prayer moments and things like that, but it was kind of it was hard on me because I'm an empath, and just seeing the numbers in America, um, seeing the deaths in America, and then seeing Dallas County, well, Texas at that time had 17,000 cases, and I think 482 that passed, and that was hard. And then reading about DeSoto, the numbers there, and it was just, Lord, we definitely got to take it very seriously, and because this is a critical thing. Like I said before, we had bird flu, we had what else?
West Nile, Ebola, all the stuff.
And we felt like we couldn't get touched, especially like where I live. I'm like, okay, I'm not really traveling out that much. I'm just going to work and things like that. There's no way that it's going to affect me. Yet it will reach where you are, and it was just very interesting, going through this.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you. All right, so we're just gonna get some cutaway. But so you don't know like where you might have been? Were you in large crowds? I guess it's kind of hard because at that time we weren't shut down and we would still be able to do the things that we were doing.
I was on the yeah.
You what now? I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
Dark. I was riding dark from
Oh.
Gallatin. Then I had a little front door of my job, and we're 2,500 people call center, and a lot of people went on vacation that second of February.
Yeah.
Came back, and so it's so many different ways that I could have got it, but I don't know specifically where I got it from.
Yeah, I mean, you were riding public transit. You were around people in a large business where a lot of people had traveled and come back, and yeah, I mean, it could have been anything. Even though you were washing your hands and doing all the stuff that you were being told.
Yeah, and then kind of find out it was airborne as well. Could stay in the earth for 3 hours. It was like I could have been in an elevator and somebody sneezed, and it was just in the air, and I maybe walked through it. So it's like no way that I know specifically I contracted COVID-19 because I didn't. It was waking up and finding out and seeing people that's only thing you could see is their eyes. It was frightening. I knew I was in the hospital, but it's like I have no idea who's behind those masks or anything like that. I know they had my best in mind, but being through that process all along, I'm having tremors and nightmares and things like that. And even now, I can still feel like the IVs in my arm, the oxygen tube in my nose, and I wipe my nose frequently, thinking that that's going on. So I still have a lot of healing to do, both psychologically and physically, because that was traumatic. That was a traumatic experience. Being in a hospital that long and just having to go through that whole process.
Wow. Well, thank God you're okay. I was, your friends were calling me, and of course, I had talked to Peter Johnson, and he was very worried, and he was one of your big prayer warriors, and so we just we were all praying for you. So I'm glad that you made it out and that you're better and healthy.
Yes, my wife told me you called her, and she was like, she was ready to tell my story. She wanted me to tell you, and I was like, I'd rather be home.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I posted a couple videos at first because I was afraid, I was ashamed of how I looked because like everything just.
It's all right. You're alive, so it doesn't really matter anymore. All the things that we used to worry about, like it doesn't even matter anymore. You know what?
Yeah.
As in,
I tell you this, it's good to be home. No matter the circumstances, it's good to be home. It's good to be alive, and it's good to see everybody, and at least be able to talk to them. Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, phone, everybody.
Awesome.
It's live.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. This is not going to air today. It'll probably air tomorrow. I have to do a different story today, but I wanted to go ahead and get your interview, and we'll do it probably. It'll air tomorrow. Could you?
Okay.
Do you have pictures of yourself in the hospital and all of that?
Yes, I do.
Can you text me some of the pictures, or if you have any little videos or anything like that you could send me? Just send me what you think you can. And I've got video of you when we were in Memphis, but just I'd like some of the stuff when you were in the hospital.
Definitely.
All right, great. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Be blessed. All right, bye. Wow.